I agree, but I think to a certain extent we have to remain focused on what's best for the Commonwealth, acknowledging and recognizing there are many entities and organizations that integrate and should be integrated and collaborated with. The American Nuke Society, or even anyone, my company, anyone that's doing anything international or anything beyond the boundaries of the state of Virginia should have an opportunity to weigh in and for us to recognize what we're doing in Virginia, why we're doing it, and how we're going to influence the other activities, if you will, through collaboration. I don't know, if I look at our authority, that there's some of those things we could do, but I believe what we can do is work with other entities that do have the authority to do that and influence those activities on our own behalf to benefit the Commonwealth.
Let me respond to that and inject at this point this notion of our consortium and challenge all of you to think a little bit about exactly how these two bodies will relate to one another and what it is we want that consortium to be, because it occurs to me, particularly in the context of the different sorts of collaborations and partnerships that have already been put on the table as possibilities, and what you were just referring to in terms of making sure that we're exporting Virginia technology and perhaps even Virginia graduates as well, and all of the great things we're doing related to nuclear here in Virginia. I think the consortium may well be the right vehicle for those groups of things or certain groups of things to happen. And then there are other pieces like interfacing with Virginia's workforce needs that are more appropriate to the authority and management from here. So maybe we can shift the discussion to talking about that a little bit, about that division. We don't have to make those decisions today, but I would challenge everyone to begin thinking about that, because we will need to sort of develop the framework for this consortium and its enabling documents, its bylaws, its articles of incorporation. And to do that, we're going to have some pretty strong sense of exactly what we want it to be and to do for us. So any thoughts on that today are welcome. Though it's not the most immediate thing on our plate.
It's the arms and the legs for the soldiers, right? They're the ones who go out and do the heavy lifting, work on the strategic plan, guidance and input from us. At least that is my notion, unless somebody else has a different perspective. Make sure it's and I would think that maybe even that mix of who's on that consortium changes in our focus, whether it's annually or some period
of that consortium. I agree with what Matt says, and I think the consortium, based on how it's set up, can have many different aspects to it, handling different projects or different activities depending on what the authority would like it to conduct. What do you have to say?
Well, and I'll share too that we very purposefully in developing the legislation created the consortium in a way that will allow it to be an incubator for partnerships and collaborations among private sector entities and together with our various institutions of higher ed, so that all of that can go on in that nonstop corporation and simply be a part of what then the authority is aware of and can support and encourage in any way that we're perhaps called upon to do so. Participant in the nuclear industry in Virginia, and I'm thinking there's a whole supply chain out there that the members of this body don't reach, but reach in their work, that perhaps would have an interest in being a part of the consortium and being able to sit around a table with some of the folks that we might have been joining that group.
Not just supply chain, but entrepreneurs and innovators that have ideas that might come to the consortium to figure out if they can spawn new technology and incubate businesses here within the state. There's a good portfolio of companies within the state to be able to partner with, to be able to see if some of these technologies have commercial aspects, and that's including university research, the labs research, to be able to commercialize and develop business and economic development through the consortium.
Actually, we have been thinking about it. The Virginia Nuclear Medical Isotope Development Facility will have to get it established in Virginia as part of a research park that is being established. And that could basically become Virginia area's consortium's research labs that brings in all the universities, industry, and everyone together. I think we have short-term and long-term plan basically to bring up this area, I think, which is, I think has a good prospect.
I would also mention, there have been a lot of things touched on here today that, I don't know about everybody else, that I'd like to know more about, and to sort of get into the weeds on and understand better different things that different organizations, institutions, and businesses are doing. And I know Carrie shared with us, and I'm really glad she did, some of the work that was done by the Virginia Wind Authority, because they've done just a great job in promoting Virginia wind energy and really being the boots on the ground for the state in helping us get the release that was just awarded not too long ago. I'm sorry, I had to get a plug in for that. And really understanding sort of the industry and where it's going and what its needs are and how Virginia can participate in that energy sector. And I think it's a really good model for us. So the materials that she's given us in terms of their outline and their strategic plan and how they lay things out, I think will be very helpful. And I will say one other thing that they did that I always found extraordinarily worthwhile, and that was they planned their meetings. There were always 2 or 3 or 4 presentations at each meeting that would inform the authority in more depth about different research projects, or maybe the federal regulatory process, or different private sector efforts in terms of technology. Those presentations would be given to the authority and really help inform the authority in terms of their work. So it is my hope that we'll be able to develop a schedule of meetings and include those sorts of opportunities in those meetings.
I would echo what Maureen has just said, because really that group and the sharing of information that they've had not only helped drive the policy initiatives that we put forward through the governor's office, but it's also allowed that group to realize, oh, wait a minute, we're already doing that over there, and how can we better work together to make that a successful proposition. And really, we've gone a long way in offshore wind in a very short time in the Commonwealth. And so we really hope we have a much stronger nuclear industry in Virginia than obviously wind is brand new. So, to build on your expertise and the assets that we have here in this room and those who may not be in the room, and really bolster this important sector of our energy industry in the Commonwealth. So those are the items also that you can share with me on what you would like to see on the agenda for the next meeting. That'll be helpful. You can try that. I'm not sure we'll get it, but you can try.
My company always located in North Carolina here and Dallas, Texas. But I think Virginia is many good players in any area. So I think the first aspect is that we have to investigate what our capability in the state exists, such as university, R&D, or actual project industries. And also we have to investigate what help we need, what we can help each other. And this is database is quite important for the age. And also, please do not forget we are coming from Japan, so the international collaboration also can be pursued. And such an investigative engagement will be very needed from the beginning to see the footprint of our capabilities. I think that this is some excellent recommendation to start.
You can try that. I'm not sure we'll get it, but you can try.
My company always located in North Carolina here and Dallas, Texas. But I think Virginia is many good players in any area. So I think the first aspect is that we have to investigate what our capability in the state exists, and so that international collaboration also can be pursued. Such a investigative engagement will be quite needed from the beginning to see the footprint